All right, folks, let's get started with our next webinar. My name is Cameron Yost, and I am with Dimension Trader. And I tell you what, listening to Peter there, he did a great job. That's fantastic. And I know a lot of you have spent a lot of time in here today. It's a fantastic forum here that TradingPub has put together, and we sure want to thank Morgan and Yana and all the team there at TradingPub for the time and effort to assemble this type of venue for all of us traders. And I tell you what, it's a fantastic forum. Well, over the next hour and a half, and hopefully we won't take that much time. We don't want to keep everybody because we know it's late, especially on the East Coast. Man, my hat's off to you for staying up this late. We're going to move through some really exciting things in futures, and we're going to make it worth your time to stay with us here for a while, but I do know it's late, so we're kind of going to do things backwards. We're going to show you how to register for the special bonus that TradingPub is offering here, as a guest into our daily training room. I'm going to show you that right now. Get this thing to flip slides. That's what our website looks like, Dimension Trader. What we're going to show you, I'm going to move into that link real quick here, and also you're going to see it in the announcement box here pretty soon. We'll be putting it in there periodically, this link. But we're going to show you, I'm Cameron, and then we have Professor Allen, who's really going to do all the heavy lifting today. He's our trading educator for the past, he knows these charts and these setups better than anybody I've ever known. And he's going to show you how our special Easy Trader signal generator is going to show you how to enter a trade and exit a trade with absolutely no uncertainty. He's going to show you a trading strategy that's got proven results. We're going to show you an ABC strategy, and then that special invite into our daily training room. And I do want to make sure that we get this slide up because all trading does involve risk. You all know that. Just take a moment to read that very, very carefully. Put a yes in the chat box that you understand this, that trading does include risk, and never want to trade with money you can't afford to lose. Perfect. Thanks. Yep. There we go. You're all speed readers, and that is wonderful. But don't take that lightly. It's nice. Moving forward. Now, what you're about to see here over the next 45 minutes or so, or an hour, will take as much time as we need to get your questions answered as well at the end. I'll be trying to answer during the professor's presentation, but you're going to see some very, very, very sophisticated stuff, and we do this every day from 9:15 to noon in our training room. And we've arranged with TradingPub to get you a 5-day guest pass at this link right here. Now, just in case we don't get this thing posted up, I want you to write that down. It's bit.ly/K and then an O for T20. There it is. It's posted up in the announcement box, and that's you can just click it right there, and that'll take you to registration. Whoa! Got Ninja open, and you know what they're doing here lately. Okay, we'll get rid of that. They don't like Zenfire. Anyway, so get back into this. This is what we do every day from 9:15 to noon, and you're going to have an opportunity. It's expanding on what we're going to show you here. What we're going to show you is just the beginning. You can see more of it every day. There's a registration link. We'd love to have you join us. If you can't get that link, you can come in here to our website. You can also log in there, and we're going to make sure that we key that to the TradingPub because they've been very gracious for this. But that's right off our website, dimensiontrader.com. Takes you to here. See more about it. Register up. Either way, the link or here, both going to get you to the same spot. Okay, let's jump into this. Again, though, in the announcement box is a link where you can register. It's all straightforward. Well, here's Professor Allen. He is our daily room moderator. He's fantastic with this. He's been teaching people how to trade for 15 years, and we're lucky to have him working here at Dimension Trader. Getting ready here to turn it over to you, Professor. Just take it away. Perfect. I see your chart. Don't hear you though.
All right, testing. Hopefully everyone can hear me now. Hello, my name is Professor Allen, and I moderate a room for Dimension Trader software. At Dimension Trader software, we do offer 5 different trading systems. We offer the Easy Trader system, the Nexus, the Director, the Golden Compass, and our ABC trading chart. I wish I could show you all of the systems in this hour, but I'd probably make it too cloudy. So I'm going to show you, because not only do we have 5 trading systems, we also have 3 automated systems and 2 subscription rooms that you can subscribe to. What we're going to be able to do this evening, I guess, is talk about 2 of the systems and then talk about 2 of the automated systems that we have. But to start at the very beginning, to give you a little history, Mike Green is the owner and developer of Dimension Trader software. He's been purchasing software his whole life and finally got tired of purchasing software and decided to create his own indicators himself, and then eventually started trading those systems to other people and selling those systems. I see my mic might be a little loud. Let me turn it down just a tad. I don't want it to be. There we go. It's perfect for you? Good. When Mike and myself and Cameron, we all got together and we were talking about trading systems, one of the first things we talked about was people had a very difficult time knowing exactly when and where, with no uncertainty, do we get in and out of our trades. And so we created, out of 5 systems, 2 of the systems I'm going to show you are very unique to what you're going to find out there in the market. And here's what I'm going to show you here. If you see where the arrows here, the red arrow is pointing down, this is where we're going to look for a short. This is where we'd enter to go long. This is again where we'd enter to go long. This is where we'd enter to go short. And this is where we'd enter to go long. Now you say, well, why at these particular points are you going long and short? This is why we're going long and short. On the next chart, we're going to go long here. We're going to go short here. We're going to go long here and here. And we're going to go short here. And why are we going to do that? Because this tells us when to go long or short. We've devised a system called the Easy Trader system that tells you exactly what price bar to get in on and exactly what price bar to get out on. That system's called the Easy Trader, and when these signal alerts plot on the chart, here's what they actually look like when you come and visit us in our room. And I'll blow this up so that you can see it. This is a long signal alert, and in the room we mark up the charts and mark these signal alerts up and use this money management system to guide us through the trade. This is a good money management system that we use marking up the E-mini futures market. It works okay on some other markets, but these signal alerts will plot on any market, whether it's a stock market, a futures market, on any time frame that you so choose to trade on. When the signal alert plots, it usually generates a suggested entry price, and down below this, you can't see it, it'll also plot a suggested stop. And then we use this money management system to guide us through the trade. You can come up with your own money management system or strategy to use, but the signal alert will be green bars go long, and of course, our short signal alerts will plot in red bars. So green bars go long and red bars go short. No more do you have to try and figure out exactly what price bar to go short on. No more do you have to figure out with any doubt of when you're supposed to take the long or short trade. The software that plots all this stuff is called the Easy Trader software. And the indicator that actually plots this is called the signal generator. Our signal generator actually has up to 12 different settings you can set it at. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pull up an actual chart for you. And this is our actual signal generator. It's actually plotted the signal alert right now. This is a live signal alert in the live market right now that's plotted. Basically, if you want to have a basic understanding, red bars go short and green bars go long. How you want to manage a trade can be up to you. Or for the E-mini, we do have a nice little what we call starter strategy that is what I call battle tested. And I have over 2 years worth of recaps on our YouTube channel that you can go back and look at the performance of the Easy Trader software. But this signal generator that generates these green and red bars are short signal alerts, green bars are long signal alerts, has up to 12 different settings that you can set it at. You can set it at setting number 1, which is our most conservative setting, all the way up to setting number 12, which is one of our more aggressive settings. Now, what do we mean by conservative or aggressive settings? Well, if you have this signal generator set at setting number 1, the most conservative setting, this signal generator is going to be analyzing up to 15 different indicators, and all 15 of these indicators are going to have to favor our long or short signal alert before it will plot it on the chart. Whereas if you have it set at some of the higher settings, say setting 10, 11, or 12, one of the more aggressive settings, well, then the signal generator only analyzes up to 10, 11, 8, 9, or 10 indicators, but all of which would have to favor the long or short signal alert before it plots it on the chart. This is today's market on the E-mini. You can see the red bar short, the green bar is long. You can see the nice long trade here, and a okay, decent short here, a nice long, a nice short. You get into a little chop in some of the late evening. This is our performance on Wednesday. This is our performance on Tuesday, which was 2.75 points. And I'm just going back. And then we had a nice little trade here for a few points on Monday. So that's just today's performance results. This signal generator, again, green bars go long and red bars go short. Now, with the signal generator in the Easy Trader software, we always consider it to be a conservative piece of software designed to preserve capital. And we also designed it to have the shortest learning curve, so no matter what your skill level is as a trader, you should be able to pick up on this Easy Trader fairly simply and fairly easily. But there is a learning curve to the software. There's no doubt. The first part of the learning curve is being able to understand all the indicators that you have here. And the question on the indicators is, we have a lot of proprietary indicators that we're using. And Gene asked the question, what are these candlesticks that we're using? These aren't actually candlesticks. These are our own proprietary indicator that we call our ZTZ bars. And this chart is called a 3-tick value chart. You can see how they really smooth out the market, though. Now, these ETZ bars are not like a time-based bar like you'd see on a minute chart. They're not like a transaction type bar like you'd see on a tick chart, but they're a price action type bar, and that's usually as technical as I'll get with them. But I will tell you this, if you've heard of Renko bars, they are a distant relative of a Renko bar, but they are not exactly like your typical Renko bars. They really, really do smooth out the market. And when you look at the signal generator, when it generates these signals, you're going to see just how smooth it smooths out the market. And we have well over 2 years worth of recaps on our YouTube channel that shows the performance of this software on the E-mini futures market between 8:30 and 11 o'clock, which we use as the prime time to run our training room. As Cameron says, averaging 2.25 points on the market. But let me give you no doubt. We do have losing trades and we do have losing days. In fact, I was listening to some of the other people talking about their systems, and it's true. I mean, there was a guy who was saying you kind of have to do a little bit of investment. But we do have losing trades, we do have losing days, but we don't have many. And the proof's in the pudding. The performance is on the YouTube channel on our website. There will be a performance tab that you can click on to find it. Folks, I'm going to show you two systems today. Both of these systems can be automated also. And if you're not making money, you need to give us a look at. I'm telling you very seriously. Everybody is in this to make money, and you need to give it a serious look. And we're offering you a 5-day pass to go in here and take a look at this. Now, there's still a learning curve to the software. There's 3 parts to the learning curve that I always talk about. First, you have to read the indicators. Some of you may be familiar with some of this stuff that I know people pay thousands of dollars for. Fibonacci support and resistance levels are on this chart that are calculated on a daily basis. It will work on any chart that Jerry says, does it work on any time frame or any chart? Any time frame, any market, any kind of candlestick or minute chart that you want to use. Now, obviously, how well it does on any time frame, any market, but they will work. Yes, it will. I haven't battle tested the Easy Trader other than transaction-based charts and tick charts and the Renko bars, but there's no reason why it wouldn't work on any other market. And I'll be open and honest, but it doesn't work well in choppy markets, but I don't know very many markets that do, very many trading systems that do. We have indicators that you may be familiar with. We're using a very common indicator like a Keltner channel. We're using some moving averages in the large trigger lines. They're not simple moving averages. They're linear regressions. We have what we call one-to-ones. We have MACDs. This isn't a standard MACD. This is called a TBS. And this is the Easy Trader indicator down below. And we have other proprietary indicators that the signaler generator is analyzing that have to be satisfied before it will plot a signaler long or short on our chart. So there is a learning curve to the software, but this software is designed to be a conservative piece of software. And yes, you can back test it. Well, you can back test it. David says, can you back test it? Look, set the chart back for 90 days and go back and look what it can do. You can replay it in Ninja Trader in Market Replay. So yes, you can back test it and forward test it any way you'd like. Sound is cutting in and out. Is it just me? I hope it's just you, Jane, unfortunately. But I may just be, my head could be moving away from the mic as I'm moving around. So I'll try and keep my mic as close to my mouth as possible. But this is the Easy Trader software. It's named Easy Trader because it was designed to have the shortest learning curve as possible. So that no matter what your skill level is as a trader, you should be able to pick up on the Easy Trader fairly simply and fairly easily. The average return is based on the performance we have, David. I think Cameron's going to post that. I think it's 2.25 points per day based on trading it on the E-mini between 8:30 and 10:30 in the morning. Central time is what I'm talking about. I'm sorry, I've got a little bit of a cold here, so if I'm coughing, I'll try and mute when I can. This is a very unique piece of software. Winning percentage, I don't have any solid numbers for that. I don't believe anymore. I'm probably going to guess that you can go to our website and you can go back and walk through each and every one of the recaps that I do, because every day that I run and moderate the room and talk about the Easy Trader setups between 8:30 and 11 o'clock Central, at the end of that, I'll do a little short recap to show the performance of the software. And that's about as close as we get to giving you performance results. When you want to translate stuff into dollars, let me comment on that for everybody. When you're futures trading, stock trading, a lot of your trading, I always like to compute things into points. And the reason I do that is because every trader is different. There are traders that have $50,000 trading accounts, and there are traders that have $5,000 trading accounts. People who are trading $5,000 trading accounts are trading less volume than the person next to them that's trading a $50,000 trading account. So when you try and convert stuff into dollars, it, to me, in my opinion, doesn't make a lot of sense. In other words, if Joe is sitting next to Tom and they take the same trade and they make 2.25 points on that trade, Joe made X amount of dollars and Tom made X amount of dollars. But they probably didn't make the same amount of dollars because they're trading two different volumes in the market. So you can't always say, I mean, I could hype this up. I could say, oh, we're trading 10 contracts and we're making 2.25 points on the market. A point on the E-mini is 4 ticks. It's different on every market, David, which is a point per contract is $50. So 2 contracts is $100. But that's on the E-mini. You could be trading the NQ. You could be trading, you know, some of the other futures markets that have different values per point or per tick. So that's the reason it's always important to understand what we feel is achievable in points so that you can understand that on your trading account. And I wish we weren't really set up to show you what we call the power of 2. The power of 2 is the gentleman that was speaking before us showed how compounding, you know, just making an average of whatever percent he was using, but we use the power of making 2 points every day and how it can fruitfully grow your account. Because you don't have to trade more trades, in our opinion, every day. You just need to trade more volume in each trade. Just like trading stocks. You buy a stock for $50 and one stock and it goes to 100, you made $50. But if you had 500 of those stocks, you made a whole lot more money. But it was still the same trade. So obviously all that should compute and make sense to all of y'all. I know you're smart cookies in here. I've been listening to all y'all's questions and everything else, so I know you should understand that. Oh, what is the average contract size on the E-mini? The E-mini is a elephant. You could trade 50 contracts. That's a flea on the E-mini's back. That's what it is. It has too much liquidity on the E-mini futures market. It wouldn't even think twice of filling you at 50 contracts. So there's lots of liquidity, and that's one of the reasons we like the E-mini. But not all of our clients trade the E-mini. Some are trading the Russell. Some are trading gold, crude. You know, we have 5 different trading systems. I'm showing you 2 of our prime ones, 2 of the ones that are really unique that we have. But when I get back to the learning curve, what I was talking about is that all software has a certain amount of learning curve. And even the easy trader, you're going to have to learn to read these indicators that you see on the chart and anticipate when these trade signals are going to come. And then you're going to have to pull the trigger to get in the trade. One of the things that we found with people pulling the trigger is the hesitation they have in pulling the trigger, the emotional side of pulling the actual trigger. In general, people get into trades late for a variety of reasons. You may have actually done this yourself where you get in trades too late. There are a variety of reasons of it. Some of it is that you have a lack of understanding of the software and anticipating when you should get in. Some of it has to do with the emotion of pulling the trigger. We understand this at Dimension Trader. And so we've developed something that makes it even easier, because this is our Easy Trader software. And this is what I call the non-automated version of our software, but we've actually created an automated version of the software that you're seeing right here on the right side of the chart now. This automated version will execute and enter the trade for you based on the same signals that we're getting on the chart on the left. It will also, its default settings in the signal alert generator, will execute the trade based on this money management system or strategy that we've put into this GTX, what we call GTX Auto Trader. Now, what does the automated version provide for you that the non-automated version doesn't provide for you? Well, the automated version is going to execute the trades for you. And it will get, like you see here, the entry price, signal generated price is $18.3425 on the non-automated version. Yes, and yes, it will work on FX. And the automated version is $18.3425. So they got the same signal generated price. Will that happen 100% of the time? No. But it's usually within a tick. The automated version will attempt to get the same price, but we have allowed it by the default setting up to 1 tick slippage. This signal generator will execute it, and a lot of our owners of our software use the GTX Easy Trader because it takes the emotion out of pulling the trigger. And it takes a little less attentiveness in paying attention to what's going on. Now, whether you're using the automated version, you have to pull the trigger. With some people, like I said, it takes a little longer for them to get used to pulling the trigger and feeling comfortable with it, and that there's a little emotional side to it. With the automated version, it takes that out and puts you in the trade. Now, once you get in the trade, we have strategies. Now, you can change the strategy. There are many things you can control in the strategy itself. I'm going to show you this strategy. The entry method, your initial stop, how many contracts you trade, how many targets you want. You can have up to 4 different targets, but our default is 2 targets. We have a target at 4 ticks and a target at 16 ticks, which has been battle tested on the E-mini to work pretty good. And the proof's in the pudding on our performance. But you could have up to 4 different targets. You could have a daily goal. You could set that daily goal and it'll stop trading when it hits that daily goal. If it gets down money, you can set that goal too, and it'll stop trading when it hits that goal. You can tell it to start and stop trading up to 3 different times during a 24-hour trading period. Down here we get into trailing stops, and the way the strategy works here is pretty simple. If the market if it gets in 10 ticks in our favor, it'll lock in. The stop will move into +4. If it gets to 12 ticks in the favor, the stop will advance another 4 for a total of 8. And if it gets to 16 ticks in our favor, it'll lock in 14. That's stop movement. You can adjust it, just change the numbers that are in here. You can use any signal type 1 through 12 that I was talking to you about. Signal 1 through 12. And we have a couple other features there that I don't want to get into right now, but this is the automated version. And here's the deal, the way I feel about it. If we have proven over 2 years worth of recaps that the non-automated version can show profitability on a consistent basis, if we set up the same strategy that the non-automated version does, and we can get close to the same entry price as the non-automated does, and use the same money management system, why would it not make money also? That's what I have to ask you. There are many people and many users of our software that are using the automated version. Some traders don't use the automated version. So what is the difference really between the automated and the non-automated? In the automated version, it pulls the trigger for you. Non-automated version, you have to pull the trigger. In the non-automated version, once you get in the trade, it'll execute because NinjaTrader platform has what they call the dome, and you can set up this strategy in it, and you can manage that strategy and intervene in that strategy whenever you so choose to do so. In the automated version, you can do the same thing. Once it executes your trade, if you want to intervene and adjust your targets or your stop losses, which is going to put your stop losses, just like the non-automated version would do when you set up the strategy in Ninja, It'll place your stop loss order and your profit targets, and you can move them. You can move them in the non-automated version, or in the automated version, excuse me. When you get this white price bar is what we call the hard exit. And if you actually own the software, automated or not, an audio would come on telling you if you're in a position, you should get out of it. In the automated version, it automatically exits you out of that position. In the non-automated version, you're going to have to close your position yourself. So someone asked me once, well, can you just turn it on and then walk away from it? You can do whatever you want. I don't recommend putting my money. I would never put my money down and walk away from it in the live market. But you can. It will execute your trade. It will work through the money management system. It'll either hit your stop, it'll hit your profit target, or it's going to exit you on the white price bar. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about it. In the non-automated version, you're going to have to pull the trigger. You can leave it alone at that point if you have the strategy set up. But if it gives you the white price bar, which is what we call the hard exit, you're going to have to click the button and close your position out. I like to think of it as a great execution tool that takes a little emotion out of the entry method. It is the easy trader. It's very simple. It's very easy. It's very unique. And like I said, we have the non-automated version and the automated version. As I said, our presentation is probably not going to be as long as most people. Edward says, why not do automated? The GTX Easy Trader, when you purchase our software, you'll get a 30-day free trial, and then the GTX is $200 a month to use the automated version. And some people just don't need the automated version. They pull the trigger just fine, and they get their entries just fine. In fact, because if you're going to trade this on other markets, which you can, you're probably going to set up different strategies. Now, especially if you're trading like gold or crude or something like that, you're probably going to want to use a different strategy for those markets than what's here. And you can go into the inputs value, the non-automated version or the automated version, and you can get those. Change those values for what it plots on the chart. And then, of course, if you're using the non-automated version in NinjaTrader, you can just set up your own strategy, either your own custom strategy, and it'll execute based on your entry. But the GTX Easy Trader is, I'm telling you, is a very unique piece of software. I'm going to move on to the next piece of software here because this software is probably, in my opinion, as exciting as the Easy Trader. It used to be what we call a system in a system. And now that we have come up with a proprietary indicator for our entry, it now becomes not just a system in a system, but it becomes its own unique system. You may be familiar with what we're going to talk about next, which is called ABCs. I'm not going to flood you with numbers. I'm not going to flood you with with strategies. Okay? What I'm going to flood you with is easy trading. What I'm going to flood you with is Easy Trader that tells you exactly what price bar to get you in on, and if you want to wait for that Y price bar for the exit, exactly what price bar to get out on. But the next system I'm going to talk about is a system that has been around. In fact, you could probably Google it. I Googled it the other day just to see what's out there, and there are a variety. It's like a variety of this system. And it's called ABCs. And there are a variety of different types of ABC tradings that out there. But I'm going to show you one. And this system has always been in our software. But And Mike Green, the owner and developer of Dimension Trader software, he's always loved ABCs. I've always loved ABCs. In fact, I can see the ABCs, which is a pivot progression. You can see the text here, even without the text on. But we have developed 2 proprietary indicators that you see down below that give us some unbelievable entries, folks. I'm telling you, unbelievable entries. All right, I'm not kidding. In fact, I'm going to show you chart. I'm going to show you. We're going to go back. We're going to go back and look at this after I explain it to you, because it's going to take me a little while to explain this pivot progression. And this has nothing to do with an Elliott wave. I know there are a lot of people out there that are Elliott wave freaks, and that's fine. I have nothing against an Elliott wave. But this has nothing to do with an Elliott wave. It's a pivot progression. There are 2 things, and in this chart that I'm showing is stripped down. Okay? I'm showing you the stripped down version of the what we call our ABC trading chart, for the simple reason that I want you to understand these pivots and how they plot and how we get the entries into these trades. This is powerful. This is powerful stuff, folks. I'm telling you, Cameron, who's the gentleman that's with me today, our client advisor, myself, and Mike Green, we sit around all the time and just wish we had this stuff 10 years ago. We wish we do. Mike Green has spent literally hundreds of thousands of dollars on software. He got tired of it, and he started developing his own stuff. And he continues to develop stuff to this day. That's why we have 5 trading systems, 3 GTXs, and 2 rooms. I keep forgetting we just opened these rooms here recently, so excuse me if what we call them. I guess we want to call them trading rooms, but we can't. We don't want to say those words. With the GTX Easy Trader software in them, or the ABC trading system. But let me go ahead. I got you all excited about it. Let me explain it to you. There are 2 things you have to understand about the ABCs. First, you have to understand what makes each one of these pivots plot. What has to happen to get the A, the B, the C long, the ABC over. And then you have to understand what each pivot's trying to do, what the job of each pivot is. And then we'll talk about the entry, which is very simple. To talk about the indicators that we have on this chart, the main indicator that we need to really discuss is a Keltner channel. I don't know if everyone's familiar with the Keltner channel. It's a very common indicator provided by most charting services these days. But this is a very key point indicator in the ABC pivot progression. Because all pivot progressions in the ABCs start with this X. This X stands for the word extreme. It is an extreme pivot that has happened at or beyond the outer band of a Keltner channel. See, the Keltner channel has 3 bands. It has this upper outer band, has this lower outer band, and it has a band in the middle we call the mid band. So when we get an extreme move or pivot that has happened at an outer band or beyond it, that pivot gets labeled an X. This X pivot is a pivot to the upside. This X is trying to get you to this opposite outer band. If it fails to get you to the opposite outer band and it pivots back down, that pivot's going to get labeled the A pivot. The A pivot is a pivot to the downside. It's trying to get you to this bottom outer band. If it fails to get you to the bottom outer band, see, it barely missed it, and pivots back up, that pivot will get labeled the B. The B's a pivot to the upside in this case, so we call it a B long. Now here's where things start to change. You see, if we want to get a C pivot like we get up here, what this B pivot to the upside has to do is it has to get beyond the high of the A pivot and not hit the opposite outer band. As a matter of fact, during this whole progression, if you want to keep it going, you never want to hit one of these outer bands because it will end the ABC progression and start a new one. So if the B can get beyond the A, but not hit this top outer band, and it pivots back down, that pivot will get labeled a C. This C pivot is a pivot to the downside. There are many outcomes in what we call an ABC progression. If this C pivot going to the downside can just come down and equal the low of the B pivot or hit this bottom outer band, then the ABCs would be over. But if it fails to equal the low of this B pivot or hit the bottom outer band and it pivots back up, that pivot will get labeled the C pivot. We used to call it a C fail because the C failed to equal the low or hit the opposite outer band. We said fail is not a very nice word, so we called it a C long because it's a pivot to the upside in this case. Once the C plotted on the chart, because what you have to understand is that every one of these labels that you see are lagging. This A pivot probably didn't plot until this green bar right here. This B pivot may not have plotted till this bar here. This C may not have plotted till here. They're lagging pivots because the indicator that plots ABCs has to confirm that there's a pivot there. ABCs are called anticipatory style trading. So once this C long plotted, which is probably here on this yellow bar, the ABCs technically were over. The C had failed, this C had failed to equal the low or hit the opposite outer band. Now if it had come up here and hit the outer band, it would have started a new progression, but since it pivoted back down, it labeled it an ABC over. This is an addition that we added to the ABCs because during this whole pivot progression, you're going to get audios from our software telling you when you get an X, when you get an A, and to look for the B, when you get the B to start looking for a potential C, when you get the C to start looking for a potential C, long in this case, and when you get an ABC over, it's going to tell you the ABCs are over and go take a break. People who trade with the ABCs trade it because they don't want to micromanage every price bar on their chart. You can have this audios turned on your speakers, and then once you get an X, you know you got an ABC progression, you can start looking to trade the ABCs. Now conservatively, we trade the B longs and B shorts and the C longs and C shorts. These are the two pivots that conservatively we're going to trade. Now let's talk about what each pivot's trying to do. When we got this X pivot, it's a pivot to the upside and the market's been trending down. This X pivot's trying to get you to the opposite outer band, which means it's trying to change this downtrend to an uptrend. When it fails to get you the opposite outer band and pivots back down and gives you the A is a pivot to the downside. The A is saying, no, I want to get you into a downtrend, the original downtrend we were in. But when it fails to get us into the downtrend and pivots back up, it gives us this B. The B is the same as the X. It's trying to change the downtrend to an uptrend. When it gets up here and doesn't hit the opposite outer band, the trend starts to change, but you get the C pivot, and this C pivot is just like the A. It says, no, I'm going to try and get us back into a downtrend. The C fails to get you back in the downtrend, and you get a pivot back up, and you get this C long, and it's a pivot with the B and the X that says we're going into an uptrend. So when you're conservatively trading the B and the C, you can look at when the A and the C don't have a very good opportunity of actually changing the trend back down, and when the B and C have an opportunity to go into a trend change. And that's what makes them a little more appetizing and easier for you to wrap yourself around ABCs. Let's talk about the entry. I'm going to scroll the chart back here. I'm wondering if I can actually color. Let's see if I can color this. Just going to try and see if it's got with color yellow. That's the outline. The area blue, we're going to do it, say, just to give you one example. Let's see what that does. That didn't do anything. If you do it bar by bar, you can already see the text, but the text isn't going to be there. To get the entry, once the A plots, which is probably right here, somewhere in here, the A is going to plot. You don't look for the B long until the A is plotted. We're looking conservatively at this indicator called the bias erg, and we're looking at these dots. And we're looking at the cycling of these dots, how they change from green to red and red back to green. As the A is coming down, the pivot to the downside, notice how the dots turn red. What we're looking for to take this B long is for our bias erg dots to change from now that they're red to change back to green. Didn't change there. There's your entry. Once that dot cycled to green, that is your entry in this B long with your stop just below this bar. So it goes up, you get the C, and then it comes down for the C long, and of course you're doing the same thing. Dots are red, you're waiting for the bias erg dots to turn green. There's your entry. In this case, it's right there on that bar. Conservatively, all we need is this bias erg indicator to trade the B longs and B shorts and the C longs and C shorts. Aggressively, we can trade X pivots, but it's aggressive. If you're going to trade with trade the X pivots, you have to use this scalp trigger to get you in the trade. Scalp trigger is fairly simple. You're still going to need the bias erg dots to cycle, but you're going to need this scalp trigger line to also confirm to get in the trade. So in this particular X, what we're looking at is, you see this red horizontal line, this green horizontal line, and this line here that changes from red to green. It changes red when the white line crosses above the red horizontal line, and it changes back to white when it crosses back through it, and vice versa for the green. Changes to green when you get below the green horizontal line, and it'll change to white if you get above it. So when you're looking for the X, you not only need the bias erg dots to change from red to green, which would have been right here, and I don't want to get too technical, but you also need this line to cross back over and turn white, which didn't happen on the same dot. So it moves your entry to right here. That's the earliest entry you get. We're getting confirmation in the bias erg, and you're also getting confirmation in the scalp trigger. This is the only way that we're currently using to trade the X's, which are considered to be aggressive. Conservatively, the B longs and B shorts, C longs and C shorts, you just need the bias erg dots. Let me just scroll back on this chart. This is the Russell. It's what he calls a 3-tick value chart. Let's just look at what we have, good, bad, or ugly. There's a B long. When the A is coming down, the dots are red. There's your entry on the B long. Right there on the green dot, there's your entry. Let me go back again. There's your C long. Trust me, I do this every day, so I've already got charts that I've already marked up. There's the dot. There's your entry in that area. There's your B long. There's the dot cycle. There's your entry in the B long. We're not going to talk about X's. There's your C short. There's your entry for the C short. See how the bias erg dot cycle from green to red? B short, green to red. There's an X I accidentally marked, but that would be the entry for the X. So I was showing other people. There's your B short. Your cycling of the dots actually is right here from green to red. There's your entry bar. There's your B short. There's your cycling of the dots right there. Let's keep going. I'll just go back. I'm not going to cherry pick. There's a C, didn't work out real well, but there's the entry, did okay. There's a B short. The entry would have been when these dots cycle from green to red. Let me go back. I don't know how many days of data I have on this. Probably not many. Nothing there. There's a B short. The entry is right there in the cycling. And there's your entry. With our own proprietary ZTZ bars, and along with this ABC progression, and our own proprietary indicator for the conservative entries, there's your B long. This one we didn't get. There's a B long that went away from us. Look how it didn't cycle. So we didn't get this one. It happens. There's a C short that didn't work out real well. There was the cycling, so you got it. So that would have been a loser. There's your B short. There's your entry right there on the dot. Okay? There's your B long. Where's your entry? Right there on the green dot. There's your B long. There's your entry on the green dot. From red to green when it cycles. There's your C long. Red dots when they change to green. There's your entry. D long. There's your entry. There's a B long. There's your entry right there. You got one dot to cycle. That's all you need. There's your B short. Where's your entry? Right there. There's your C long. Okay, this is the Russell. I got other charts here. Let me show some other charts. I want to show what I have here, especially because I was having fun with this today. All right, I had fun with it today. This is the NQ. I'm just going to scroll back. There's a C short. Didn't work out too well, but there's the B short right there. There's the cycling of the dots right there. There's a B short there. There's the cycling of the dots right there, going from green to red. You see how simple this is? And I'll tell you something about this ABC progression, folks. It is and it fails sometimes. There's a fail right there, that B long, but it's big. Look at this B short. Look at the B long. Look at the C long. Come on, look at it. It's there. Look at the cycling of the bias erg dots. You don't need to look at the MACDs. They're really irrelevant. I use them for divergence. Yes, these are futures charts that I'm showing you, Sonia. I'm showing you the NQ right now. I just showed you the E-mini before that. And futures are best. There's a B long right there. There's the entry right there. I'll use my crosshair. I don't usually like the crosshair, but just to show for the B long, the entry is right there on that bar. If you see where the line is that I'm kind of moving around. There's a B short. Where's the entry? Right there on that bar. Look at the C long right there. Yabba dabba do. Look, B long right there. Look at the C short before it, right there. Look at the B short just before that, same day, right there. There's your entry. I'm not talking about the X's because the X's are aggressive. Here's a B short that fails. I'm not cherry picking these charts, folks. I'm just scrolling back on them. There's a B long right there. There's the entry. You see where my crosshairs are? Let's go back. Look at the B short here. Isn't that exciting? Look at that B short. Okay, let's go back. Let's look at another chart. This is the E-mini. We already did the E-mini. I got the Russell on here somewhere. Let's take a look at the Russell. There's a B short right there. There's the entry. Nice little B short. C short didn't work out too well. There's a B long. Didn't work out too well. But look at that B short today. Oh, I caught the, which one did I catch? I caught the B long on an NQ today. I didn't catch this B short. I was talking to Cameron this morning. I missed this B short. I was hitting myself on the head. Beautiful B short to the downside. Knew it was coming. You saw the A. You knew it was going to happen at this area. The bias erg dots rolled right there and told you take this puppy short. Leave your stop just above the high pivot here and just let it run. Just let it run. There's a B short. It failed. There's a C long you'd have to hold to make any money on. There's a B long that did okay. There's a B long, kind of not so hot. There's a C long that did good. There's a B long that did good. So B short, okay. C short, nah, not so good. If you took the X, that was a beautiful X. Look at the B short, still good. Look at this B short, boom, to the downside. Here's a C short, you probably would have failed. B short was okay, not so hot there. There's a B short, did okay. There is B long, did okay. C short, hate it. B short, good. Nothing works 100%. Here's a B long, a little jibber jabby, but worked out. There's another B long that was beautiful. There's a B long that did well, a C long that did well. Another B long did okay. There's a B short, depending on how long you would have held it. There's a C long that did good and a B long that did good. And like I said, I'm not cherry picking these areas. This is it, folks. These are two of our prime systems. Here, oh, Sonia, what's the best time to use the ABCs? That's a great question. I love that question. One of the reasons that Mike Green, the owner and developer of the software, trades ABCs is because when this thing is not plotting an ABC progression, why is that happening? It's happening because in order to start an ABC progression, it has to hit an outer band to start one. If you're not hitting an outer band and you don't have an ABC progression, typically it's an indication that the market's in chop. So we also look to the ABCs sometimes to tell us whether the market may be in chop. No ABC progression means you can't get an ABC progression unless it gets to an outer band. And most choppy markets do not go. Let me see if I can find an area. Or you get a bunch of these X's and A's. See what I'm saying? You get a bunch of X's and A's and you never get any B's or C's. Oh, well, and that's a good question too, Rick. Because you see, we have an automated version of these ABCs. And I'm going to show you that also, which is kind of goes with what you were talking about. Oh, that's the easy trader. Let me get to the ABC chart. We have what we call the GTX ABCs. See, it took this trade short. And it has what we call aggressive mode. You see up here where I've highlighted. If I click on it, I can change it to conservative mode. When you put it in conservative mode, it will only take the B longs and the B shorts and the C longs and the C shorts based on the roll of the bias or dots. When you put it in aggressive mode, it'll not only take the C shorts and the C longs and the B shorts and the B longs, but it's going to take these X's. So aggressively, it'll trade those X's if you want it to. But notice up here also that if you maybe had a strong bias to the upside and you didn't want to take any short trades, you can just click this to false and it won't take any short trades. It'll show them, but it won't enter you either on sim or real money, whichever you have it set at. If you don't want it to trade at all, you could set them both to false, trade long and trade short. It won't trade anything. If you only want to go short, then you put this to true. And you can click these as they're going on. And I believe the GTX Easy, in fact, I know the GTX Easy, same thing. It has, if you only have a bias to the upside, if you're only wanting to take signals that are long, then just click this and change it to false, and it won't take any short trades. If you want to only take short trades, click this to false, and it'll only take short trades. So if you feel like you have a strong up bias for the day and you feel like trading shorts are going to be aggressive, then trade shorts to false, and the GTX Easy Trader will only take the long trades. Two keywords that I'm going to tell you about these two pieces of software out of 5. When you get into our other pieces of software, we have some very, very unique software, but you start getting into more discretionary style trading. We have many, many indicators that will give you an edge in the market. And we've developed 3 other systems that work very well for people that are really advanced in trading, that really like to create what we call the Nexus system. Really is a system that I wasn't set up to show you today. We wouldn't have time to go through it. And it's developed to where you can kind of have your own discretion on how you want to trade with the indicators that we have. Edward says, does this work with TradeStation? It does work with TradeStation, but the unfortunate side about the TradeStation, and I'll be honest and open about it, is we cannot get these proprietary ZTZ bars currently in TradeStation. The Mark X, etc., only show up after the bar is closed. No, get this right. It's called anticipatory style trading, which means all of these labels are lagging, okay? This A probably did not print to probably right here. When you get into, let's find a trade, into a B short, you're not waiting for the text. You're only waiting for the cycling of the buy surge. Now, let me make this clear so you understand. That's why I was trying to do bar by bar without the text on there. This C probably plotted here. You don't care about the text on the C long. You're anticipating you're going to get a pivot, and the cycling of these buy surge dots is going to tell you when to take the shot at where the pivot may be. So you're waiting, you're waiting, you're waiting. I'm looking down here. The text isn't going to be there. I'm waiting. Next, these dots plot after each bar closes. There's the green dot. There's my entry bar. This text may have plotted at the same time this bar came here, but I'm not looking for the text. Does that make sense, JW? It's the same with the X, the A, the B long, C long, all this stuff. It's all lagging because it has to confirm there's a pivot. We're using these bias or dots to tell us where we think the pivot may happen from. For the conservatively, for the B longs and B shorts and C longs and C shorts, for the X's, we're not only waiting for the cycling of the bias erg dots, but we're waiting for this scalp trigger line that's green to cross up and turn white. So it doesn't matter about the X. You take the shot at anticipating a pivot to happen here that's why the X is aggressive. But this style of trading, and I don't know if, let's see if I have an area I can find. Look at right here. And let me tell you, there's more than you can do with this that we're talking about. Mike Green, he loves ABCs. You see how you get a strong downtrending market and you get the X and the A, you get an X and the A, get an X and the A, you get the X and the A. You see how you get all those? If you're trading ABCs, you're not getting anything if you're getting conservative, are you? You're not getting anything. But you do realize you're in a strong downtrending market. And you probably realized right about here, after the second A, that you're getting a strong downtrending market. Does it not make sense, folks, that you might start taking a little aggressive shot at trading short on the A here, trading short on the A here? I'm getting a little further than I normally would talk about ABCs. Yes, you can use the system, but they don't have these ZTZ bars. Still has everything else. Everything else that we offer on the Ninja Trader version is on the TradeStation version. In fact, TradeStation has more indicators, but you don't get the ZTZ bars because we haven't been able to code them in to their system. And they've been telling us they're going to let us do it for a long time, but they've not been able to allow us to do that just yet because I don't know what it is. I'm not that far into what goes on with Ninja Trader. I won't change my charts right now. I wish I could show you a 30-minute chart, JW. Our indicators do use a lot of resources, and on Ninja Trader with it open and with Novia and with everything else that I have opened, I could lock up. And if I lock up, then, when it's recalculating a chart, I just have a standard in the room, the daily room that I moderate. I never recalculate a chart in the morning. It takes me 20, 30 minutes to get set up, and I usually have 10 or 12 charts open. But if you come to our daily room and sign up for it, and I know you're in there and you remind me, I'll try and set it up on a 30-minute chart and take a look at it. But my question would be this. Why would, if it works well on a ZT bar 3-tick chart, why would you want to try the 30-minute time frame? But I'll do it for you. I'll set it up there and you can take a look at it. Well, of course, Charles, I would think so too. But we do have a track record for the Easy Trader. And I'm showing you, like I said, I'm not cherry picking any of this areas, folks. They're like, look at this, XA, XA, XA. Mike Green, our only developer, said, look, after the second or third A I get, I'm going to take these A's long until I get a loser. or until I chart that I'm showing you with the ABCs is stripped down, because the chart that you're going to get with the default chart with our software is going to have Fibonacci support and resistance levels. It's going to have trend points on them. It's going to have other indicators on them. I just strip it down so that you guys can clearly see the entries in the areas that we're taking these trades from and kind of get a very clear view of the ABCs. Three tick is too fast and too often. It will provide too many trades. Can you show the today from? No, you got to understand, Bruce, this is not a tick chart. So it's not a 3-tick chart, transaction-based chart. Okay, Bruce? This is not a tick chart. We call this a 3-tick value chart. It's not like every 3 ticks in the market, it starts a new price bar. I want to make sure that's clear with you. What you have is, if the best I can explain this, I don't know what's live right now. I'm connected to the markets, but the markets I have open are the Russell, and I don't know what's really moving right now. What market would be moving? And I don't know if I want to calculate any charts because it'll lock up.
It's live.
There's the Russell.
That chart is live.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was telling him.
Yeah, it's a live
It's
chart.
live, but I just don't know what market's really moving. That's why I was showing this Easy Trader chart. It's live, but it hasn't moved since we've been here. Yeah, Bruce, this is the best I can do for you on understanding these type of price bars is to Google Renko bars, and if they are a very distant cousin to a Renko bar, but it has the same general concepts of a Renko bar. Oh, please show the Bruce wants to see the NQ. Oh yeah, I love the NQ. I've been having fun on the NQ all afternoon. Let me show you the NQ today. And I'll tell you where I had fun. This B short, I told you I was kicking myself in the head because I was talking to Cameron on Skype, and I missed this B short when it happened. And then I took this X, because you know the NQ, Bruce, you know the NQ and the Russell kind of follow each other, right? So if you look at this X right here, and let me kind of scrunch this chart back, and you look at the Russell at the same point, I was kind of doing a comparison with them today. I put it on universal. I think that the Russell was getting into a B long at the same time. Okay, where's my universal? Sorry, let me get this correct, folks. There we go. Okay, so let's see. Move this over. Move this over. And figure out where I'm at. Okay, so here's my X. Trying to line it up. It was today, so let me get this current. Okay, so this B long was, I'm sorry, I'm not doing this very well. I'm trying to remember which was which. That's the E-mini. That's not even the right market. Let's get back to the NQ. It was, I believe it was this X that was at 850. No, it wasn't at 850. It was this afternoon. This is where I'm getting silly. Which one was it? Which one was it? It was either this B long or this X. I'm not sure. I think it was this B long. This is the NQ. This was the B long I took this morning or this afternoon. This was a beautiful B long, and that was at 1335. And what I noticed was on the Russell at 1335. I can get there. Notice that the Russell was in an X at 1335. So I had a B long on the NQ and the X forming on the Russell, and they kind of follow each other. So I was like, wow, this looks like a really good. I took that B long on the NQ. All right, Cameron, I hear your mic.
Yeah, we do this way in the training room every day. We're coming out of time here, Professor, so we might want to wrap it up. And just encourage everybody. just real quick, I'm going to kick you over because, and put your questions up there. We'll stick around here to answer some questions. Go
ahead, Cameron. I'll answer the questions.
Yeah, just to give everybody an idea of what we're more than just a bunch of, let's see here. There we go. There we go. We do an awful lot of education. We have the daily training room, and that's that link to register from. Just copy and paste it off the announcements. See if we can get Sanford to post it back up in there, and copy and paste that into your browser. And the professor does this for 2.5 hours every morning in live markets. And then we have a weekly professor's corner. And this is all for our owners. Now, as an owner, this is all part of the program. In the professor's corner, he goes on and asks and answers very specific trading questions for our owners. And then we also have the inner circle every week where Mike Green, the owner and developer, and he's a professional trader himself. That's why he developed these indicators. He gives us a peek as to what he's working on now. He's always coming out with new stuff. We get them. We just get them for free. If you're an owner of our full bundle, our full package, all of our trading systems, you get them for free. I'm going to show you what they cost. We also have a members only area on the web where we have a lot of training videos and all kinds of resources to assist you in becoming a successful futures trader or whatever instrument you like trading. Time to time, we have 3-day workshops. We just finished up one in Denver, and it was a great success. We're looking probably at Orlando this spring. We're putting one together. And you just come and we trade for 3 days as a group in the mornings, and then the afternoons we talk theory. Whoops. There we go. So what does this cost? It's $39.95 for the entire 5 trading systems. You only saw 2 of them tonight, the Easy Trader and the ABC. We also showed during the training room the Nexus, Golden Compass, and the Director. But all 5, over 30 proprietary indicators, and all the other goodies that I just showed you. Now we do offer only the Easy and the ABC trading systems. That's kind of a scaled down version with 13 proprietary indicators. Now the Easy and the ABC are not scaled down. They're the full thing. It's just a portion of the big bundle. And that's $22.45. You still get all of the extra things. You get free technical support, free upgrades. It's really a heck of a lot. And you know, when you're trading our style, a couple of contracts, tell you what, we have people making a living, professional traders doing this from our software. And you know, if you're making, I don't know, you know, whatever it is, 60, 80, 120,000 bucks a year, this is pretty cheap to start a business with and to move forward. Just a footnote here, futures trading isn't, a lot of people, myself, I trade 2 hours a day. I quit trading futures. I usually hit my goal in that 2-hour period. I also trade options. That's why I liked Peter's presentation so much with TOS. I've got my Thinkorswim platform up all day long. So I trade options, and I also trade futures. I can trade the futures in the morning and then have more attention to my options in the afternoon. Anyway, with that said, do join us. Copy this up, folks, at the register. The 5 days does not have to be consecutive. Whenever you get in there, you'll have access to me. You'll have all my contact information also when you're in our training room, and we can chat. If you have any, the professor's got questions and answers going all day in there as well. So it's awfully late. I know you folks on the East Coast, it's after midnight already. We really appreciate you guys spending time. Many of you have been in here most of the day. Hats off to you. You've seen an awful lot of good trading software. So as we wrap it up, I just want to say thank you to Morgan and the whole staff there at TradingPub. They do a fantastic job. Putting a program like this together is a lot of work on their behalf, and I know I myself as a trader really enjoy the fact that they put this together. We're honored to be able to be part of it. We thank them, and we thank you for your time spending tonight with us, and we do hope to see you tomorrow and next week in our training room.
All right, good deal. Thanks so much. We appreciate you guys being here. And again, that's the link. I'll leave that up for a couple minutes where you guys can register and kind of take advantage of that opportunity. So what we're going to do here is give you guys about a 5-minute break. I'll put a timer up there for 5 minutes, and then we'll be back and get started with the next section.